So if you are highly transactional in your head, then I'm gonna choke your throat. Then be transactional. What does that mean? That means every time somebody else does good for you, remember and give back. Don't just, when I give, I want back. When you give and you didn't realize the value, I'll keep quiet. If you're going to be transactional, be consistently transactional, and you will realize that most of the benefits you're getting in your life, civilization-wise, you didn't earn. The amount you'd have to pay back is beyond your back can bear. The amount of civilization and goodnesses that you're enjoying in your life, if you were to truly transact them back, you would break your back. You couldn't repay. You selfish person. Meaning, if that's how you are transactional, that when I give, I must have back, right? Then you have to, being that way, you will find doesn't really work. But it doesn't mean that somebody should constantly abuse you. Because that's where the reason why people say that is not because they're not being transactional. Yeah. They're using that particular thought at that moment because they feel abused by that one or two person, right? Yeah. Few people. In that case, you're not really transacting. You're trying to educate them that don't be just a taker and not a giver, right? That's what you're trying to do. Okay, then be clear. Our advice, be clear. If you're going to educate the person, then you say, okay, if I were to educate this person on this concept, one method is when I help them, I tell them. That's one method. It's a poor method because that guy will then learn, only you I will repay, everybody else I will screw. So you didn't really educate that person to change their personality. So then you say, okay, I may do that. But what else can I do that will help this person not be such a taker and without being a giver, right? And then you have to tell them some stories about people who are constantly like that. You have to tell them some examples of other friends who are even worse than them. Nothing like a mirror to help a person educate. Show them another person who's even more miserly, shall we say, right? And you say, you don't like that person, do you? Now, other people may not like you because you do a little bit of that, but a little bit better than him. So why be that miserable person that nobody likes? Or very few people are tolerating. Don't be that person. So you have to start educating them that this method of being selfish is actually, how can I call it? Hurtful to you so much that you're not even being selfish. You say, in order to be truly selfish, you must give back. And you know what? Selfish people see that logic. So you explain it to them in their language. Yeah?
Got it.
Okay, more. Our list is going to come. So, values that you have learned. Good relationships that you already have with some family members. Note them down. Note them down in your list of things I already have that I'm grateful for. Make a list like that. Okay. Then it will also include people who supported you in your times of need. And the way you measure the benefits that came to you are never emotional. We're not saying, that guy did this, it made me feel good, so I remember that I have to be remembered. No, not emotional good feelings. That's not what we are measuring here. Because emotions, they come and go, and the consumer of the emotional pleasure in your mind, which is your mind, is infinitely infinitely hungry. So you can never, ever give enough good feeling to your mind and be satisfied. It's like trying to feed a cylinder without a bottom. No matter how much food you put in, no matter how much pleasure you put in, right? No matter how many good things you experience, it can't remember. It just comes back and says, I want more. I don't feel good today. Today, I don't feel good. Now I feel good, they'll say. And 2 days later, now I don't feel good again. Why? Because it's this shape. While it's passing through, you say, I'm good. At the bottom, it goes, now I need more. So you keep thinking that by having this cylinder of feeling good, eventually I'll be happy. No. Happiness is in a different container. It has a bottom. Okay. So if you saw somebody else doing this mistake, you'd look at them and say, how stupid. How this person's so stupid. But when you're doing it, then I have to hold a mirror only. Otherwise, how will you see that you're trying to fill this cylinder? All right. So these are the things you put in the second list. Now we're not done yet. Now you have 2 lists. Okay. Now, what you're going to do with these 2 lists is you will learn to actively start loving those people in list number 2. You say, these people actually help me in the real things that matter to me, that things I'm really grateful for, right? It doesn't matter how rude they are as a personality. It doesn't matter things about their personality you don't like. Compartmentalize them. We will educate that person to become softer, right? But when the rubber had to meet the road, when it came to you needing help in your life till date, these are the people that got you the things you're truly grateful for. And love is how you call that relationship, even if you don't want to, because you may have a wrong definition of love in your head. And if you do, watch our love series.
Yes.
So we're not going to cover that today. Watch our love series. It really will help you. Okay. Meanwhile, watch that love series, come back and say, I need to start loving these people in list number 2. And also, I need to start loving people in list number 1 that help me get to that list being accomplished. Okay? Now you're practicing love and not a transactional attachment or a transactional, you can say, exchange of affection. It's not even affection, it's just a transaction. You call it love. People call a lot of transactions love just because they have touch involved or they have some ego massage involved. That's not love. It is what it is. You made me feel good. Thank you so much. That was all. And it went in my other container, which I don't want to fill, but thank you.
So love means sacrifice.
Well, love, the language of love is sacrifice, but love means appreciating those things that help you in the long run and being willing to sacrifice for them and for the gain of those things that are meaningful to have in life, right? So say I have a drug habit and somebody gives me drugs. So they didn't meaningfully improve my life. They are not to be loved. It has to be things that meaningfully add meaning to you, that are the foundation of your happiness. So things that give you long-term happiness or help you get to the long-term happiness or give you skills to get you long-term happiness, those are the things you will love. Everything else is not love. Everything else is a transaction of sorts, an attachment of sorts, a codependence of sorts, and even lust of sorts. And good to have this word and this vocabulary clear.
Okay.
And it's very complicated. So I hope you pay attention, because when you grow up in the Western world, they didn't have, for the longest time, a singular word for unconditional love. It's only when the East came and met with the West in a meaningful way that term was invented in English. If you look for that word by saying, when did Chaucer write about unconditional love? It doesn't exist. When did Shakespeare write about unconditional? It doesn't exist. The word unconditional love. I mean, it's inferred here and there, and other places it's transactional. They have one word because it was never in the Western mindset that this concept needs a word by itself. But the East does, because they've been around a bit longer, not because they're more smarter. People think that, I got it first, so I'm smarter. No. Experience gives you something, yeah. So you get more experience. But if I use it, I'm smarter.